Hello everyone, my name is SINGH and today I am going to show you my project on different APIs and some extra functionality. So this is my files. I will open it up in Visual Studio Code. I got them here. So let's start with the index file first. So talking about from the top, I created a HTML tag here and then head tag in which I put the char set to UTF-8 setting my title to Devin phase 2 as this is my phase 2 assignment. So then I imported some JS files and CSS file here like DAVINDER.js. I have all these files with my index file here, and this is my API's link. I will add a key here, and here I close the head tag. Then I start the body tag. In the body tag I firstly put the heading here like the Davin's travel list. I am usually making here a travel list like the names of places I want to travel. And on the top of the file I created a web app animation API in which I used 4 images that I inserted in this images folder .1, .2, .3, .4, and I will be doing the animation of these 4 images. So I will show you in the browser here. So this is my heading, Davinder's travel list, and this is my web animation API. So when these are the 4 images of the balls like the dots that I inserted. So when I will click on the pause button, the animation will pause, and on clicking play it will play. I will show you the coding for this also. Let's go. So for this animation, web animation API, I firstly call the image. Like let's talk about the first image animate 1, that's its ID. I put the animation here, image.animate. Here I start the animation, and these are the properties of the animation like transforming it along the y-axis from 1 em to -1 em. And then I set the another properties like duration for 1000 milliseconds and iterations like how many times I want to repeat it. I just put it for infinity, and the direction will be alternate. And here I use the easing as ease. I also use the easy now for the next image. So most of the things are same in the next image, like just the transforming is from -1 to 1, so that there should be a change, right? But the properties are almost same except the easing. So I did the same for all these 4 images. After putting the animation, I set up a pause button. I put it in the index file here. I'll show you like one play button and one pause button. So this play and pause button, the pause button I used here, firstly I call the pause button and then put the function on it like the event handler. Like on click I will run a function that will pause all the animations here, and same I did in the play button, just a difference like it will play instead of pausing the animation. So this is my first web animation API. I will show you again on the browser like playing the animation. This is the play button I used. It will play the animation while the pause button will pause the animation. So this is one div element here. So let's start with another animation. Sorry, not animation, like the third-party API. This was the web browser API. So I have here web weather API. So like I made my file on the travel list, so it's important to check the weather before traveling. So we can check it here. Like if I enter the city name, let's take it as a Toronto, and on submitting it will show the temperature. I didn't have much time to put the function here for translating it to the Celsius, but This is the temperature, and this is the weather info, like there are broken clouds. If we talk about the berry, it's almost the same, broken cloud. And let's see for the Bradford, it's scattered clouds here. So it will show the different values for every city, like the latest weather reports. So here in the index file, this section 2 is the third party's API. These are the headings for that, and I put the input field here and one submit button. These three headings are for getting the information in them, like the city name, temperature, and info. So let's go to the weather API file, JS file. Here I first call the input field here, button here, and all the other three fields in which I will show the information, and one add div element here. Here, this is add div element, like check the weather before traveling. So firstly I put an event handler here, which represent that on clicking the button this function will run. So I tried using the script over here, like the link over here, but I wanted to use this query as a city name, the user input. So I tried to do it here, but I was facing some problem. So I fetched the data here. See, I used the input value here, so that like the value what the user input, that the API will search for that value, like the city name, and this is my API key that I get from the third party. So we will get the response in the format of JSON. This is a promised response, and then the values from the API, like the name, temperature, and weather. These will be the latest values from the third-party API. So here weather description, this is the first description we will see on the website. That's why we use the 0 here. Like there will be some previous outputs there, but we want the latest one, so we'll use the 0 here. And after fetching the data from the API, we will assign the data to the elements we call here, city name, temperature, and data. And then we will reset the input value, the input field, to empty. And at the end of the function, I added an error message, like if we do something wrong, there will be error, invalid city name, try again. I will show you, like there is no city like this. So when I will submit that, it will not get the data from the API, and it will show error message, invalid city name, try again. And if we will put the correct city name, like New York, it will show the data. See, there is a clear sky in the New York. So in this way my third party's weather API works. So like the phase 1, talking about the phase 1 fields, I put it at the end. So here is a section 3 in which firstly here is a heading, like enter the places you want to travel, and I put the input here, input field here, and button for the submission, and then again to show my list, like the one heading, Devin's travel places list. This will show my list. And in the JS file, I firstly called that input field and the button, so that when we click on the button, it will run the save text function. In the save text function, firstly we will check for the input, like if the input field is empty, then it will show an error, like field cannot be empty, enter some value. If we inserted some value, then it will run the else statement, in which firstly I will create an element div, and calling the body tag, I will append the div element as a child to body, and in that div element I will append another information, like the input here. I use the checkbox here, and one paragraph field that will take the input field value, and one delete button. I set the button's attribute to delete, like its class to delete, and then added some text here, delete, and I appended all these three information, like the checkbox, the input value and the delete button to the div element that I created above here. So when we will click on input 2, that is my checkbox here, it will run the select function like it's selected, and input 3, that is my delete button, it will run the delete function. So let's create the select function here. Here I put the select function and created an object named object. So if the object that is targeted is checked and it's true, it will run this function, otherwise the else statement. So here I will use the targeted object's parent node. If it's checked, then its parent node, that is whole div element, its text decoration will be changed to line through, and its background color will become red if we check the checkbox. And then it will be, I used here like object.target.parent node, that is the div element, to add that div element to its parent node, that is body. So it will just move it to the bottom of the list. I will show you. Here are the places I want to travel. Let's name it as Toronto. On submission, it will add it on the bottom. And let's take an example of few more places. Bradford, Very. Yeah. On clicking on the checkbox, it will just put the line through and turn the button into red, the div element into red. On clicking it again, it will turn again into the green button, and on pressing the delete button, it will run the delete function. I will show you the coding for that. Firstly, like when we click it here, it runs red, and to reverse this, like if it's not checked, then it will, the text decoration will be none and the background color will be light green, as you see here. So when we click on the delete function, same as like this one, I created object here, and if targeted object's parent node and even its parent nodes, that's the body element, we will remove the element from here, like the div element. This is for the div element. So we will remove the div element from body as it's its child, so we will remove the child here when we will click the delete button. So it will work like this. Like this is the object.target.parent node, and this is its parent nodes, the whole body tag. So it will be removed as a child from the body tag. In this way, it works. Like this is my first API, this is my second API, and I changed the text here. I optimized some code here, like I used it as a travel list. Before it was just a simple to-do list, so I changed it according to a like travel list application, or we can say browser, so that whenever someone is going to travel here, he can add the list here, he can check the weather here for the cities he want to travel. And in this way I optimized my phase 1, and these are my old files here, animation.js, and this is my CSS file. Here I added some functionality like the color, these colors according to the div or section elements, just to improve the visualization of my website. So this is my phase 2 project. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for looking at it. Thank you.